My name is Keith McKim. I was a Green Beret serving in Vietnam, and I served with an outfit called SOG, S-O-G, Special Operations Group. Our code name was the Studies and Observation Group, and we were a top secret operation. We were so secret we were labeled a black operation, and we reported or took orders directly from the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the Pentagon or from the executive branch of government in the White House. We existed for 8 years, January 1st, 1964 through May 7th, 1972. During that time, we garnered 8 Medals of Honor for the Green Berets. In fact, we're the most highly decorated group in the history of the U.S. military for our size. The most highly decorated group for our size in the U.S. military. We operated with 6-man teams, 2 Americans and 4 indigenous personnel, mostly Montagnards. We were a volunteer organization only. During the time in Vietnam, there were 536,000 men in uniform. Of that, 4,000 were Green Berets. Of the Green Berets, about 400, well, fewer than 400 a year, volunteered for SOG service. During the time we were in Vietnam, we had 100% wounded and 50% killed. Yet the men went again and again to defend and protect America.
Keith, my understanding is that you have taken the experiences that you had in Vietnam and you have woven them through the stories like a golden thread. The stories of the men that shared those many similar experiences while they were a part of the SOG group. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Suzanne, I did write and narrate the CD, and the input you're asking about is from the SOG men, the fellow operators, the guys that were on those ground on the missions like I was. I was 1-0, the team leader of RT Cobra, Recon Team Cobra, and these men say they know the stories are true because they were there and they understood the pain of watching a fellow soldier get wounded or killed, the decisions that had to be made instantaneously. There was no time for thinking. Contemplation comes before the battle. You react inside the battle. And these guys all said that that's what they could relate to when they heard it. And I think I told you that I spoke this year in Las Vegas to 650 people at the SOAR, the Special Operations Association reunion. And I had them on their feet, Susan. They were singing the Star-Spangled Banner with gusto, these old men. You know, there are fewer than 100 of us left out of all the men that were there over that 8-year period. We took a vow and signed an oath that we would not reveal anything about our missions for 25 years after the war. In 2001, the whole unit, was given the Presidential Unit Citation. That's equivalent to receiving the Distinguished Service Cross, the second highest award for valor that the United States awards its soldiers. The whole unit earned that reward.
Keith, I have a couple more questions for you. One being, I understand that you are a stand-up comic.
Yes, I've done stand-up comic for a number of years. Really enjoyed it. I was successful at it, but not great. I've traveled around the nation doing that as well. But most recently, the Actors Guild dinner asked me if I would come and do 15 minutes for the actors. And it was gratifying for me because these young people, they were young actors that were there. And I told a lot of stories, old stories that you're probably familiar with, but they had never heard. And they just got a big kick out of it. And it was, as I say, gratifying for me to tell the stories. I told I'm my own grandpa and Rindersella and some of my own stuff and weaved in there. And the kids were just a great audience, really appreciative, and came up afterwards and thanked me. They had never heard the stories. I was shocked somewhat.
So my last question for you then, Keith, is what are the ways that folks can get a hold of you if they would like to talk to you about doing public speaking for them, or if they would like to find out more information about your CD?
Well, there are 3 ways, Susan. You can contact me on my website, You can contact me by email or my phone number. In fact, you're going to put this on the CD, aren't you? Those three things?
I sure am.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Well, it has been an honor and a privilege, Keith, to spend some time with you here today. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you on behalf of the Vietnam veterans whose stories were not told, that deserve to be told. And I'm so glad that we're friends and that we're neighbors here in Teller County.
There ain't no good in an evil-hearted woman, and it wasn't meant to be no Jesse James. Don't go writing hot checks down in Mississippi, and there ain't no good chain gangs.